What action adventure sport busts any geographic boundaries that you can put on it? Sailing. Considered to be one of the most highly sought after outdoor adventure sports, it can literally take you anywhere on the seven seas or be the path to the absolute pinnacle of competitive sport. But it also has the reputation of being one of the most difficult and risky ones to get into. So many people have tried and failed, or lost their fortunes, high and dry, literally, or just didn't know how to get started. Let's chat for a moment as to why sailing has this seemingly impossible entry barrier. Maybe it's the perception of a high learning curve. After all, we're trying to get boats from one place to another with just air. And all those lines, non-sailors call them ropes, it looks really complicated. It seems like it would take years to learn them all. Don't despair. It's not nearly as difficult as you think. And hold that thought. We'll talk about that in another video. But one of the biggest reasons I often see is the misconception that you have to own one of these first. Which, by the way, I think is the same as saying you have to own a tennis court before you can start to learn to play the game of tennis. Now, I'm not saying to never own a boat. I own one now, and either myself or my family has owned one that I've sailed for nearly 50 years. I'm also a big advocate of great sailing schools. As an instructor myself for years, with many successful students, I believe sailing schools will give you the vital basics that especially adult learners need. But there is another additional path that is one of the best to guarantee long-term fulfillment. And that is by starting as a member of a yacht or sailing club, or as a member of a particular boat team. This bypasses the high initial barriers of boat ownership and can ease the initial hesitation that people have in committing to a school. You'll see that there are a number of online crew and boat searching apps that greatly facilitate this. It is far, far easier than it used to be. And if you watch this video to the end, you realize that you're already wearing Dorothy's ruby red slippers. All you have to do is click the heels. But even if you found your boat or club, there's still the people equation. How do I find a team that will accept me? Or me being able to accept them? After all, I'm just starting out. And everyone else seems to know so much compared to me. This by itself can seem pretty intimidating. But don't worry. In finding the right team, skipper, boat, and club, you will get on the right path to your new passion. And that is what this video is about today. What do you, as a new sailor, really need to know to find the perfect team? This is true whether you're looking for a cruising berth for a voyage, or you want to get into the worldwide sport of competitive sailing. It's not just about having the top boat or the best equipment. It's about finding a group of people who match your passion, your skills, and your goals. Choosing the right team makes all the difference. But first, let's talk about ourselves as a new team candidate just for a moment. One of the biggest challenges new sailors face is feeling like they don't have enough experience to ever be able to join a racing team. And it's true. Many teams do look for sailors with a certain level of skill and experience. But believe me, as a longtime skipper, that doesn't mean you should give up by any means. Ultimately, skippers are looking for more than just experience. They want the proper fit as well. This is the time to be really honest with yourself. At Wayzata Yacht Club, we've been utilizing an online system called Railmeets that allows you to create a personal crew profile. Now, I have another video that goes into more depth with Railmeets. So we're just talking about what your persona is in Railmeets here. It will pay dividends to spend some time creating a good profile. We skippers really appreciate that. And you don't have to be an actual club member to do this. It's important not to underrate or oversell yourself. I had a crew member on a multi-day offshore race who, in the middle of the first night in heavy seas, confessed that they had never been offshore before and hysterically demanded that he had to get off the boat immediately. We were at least 50 miles offshore at the time. Imagine the look that the rest of us had on our faces at that moment. Clearly, someone did not choose wisely. And maybe it was me as skipper. So be honest, even if you think it may hurt your chances. But in reality, it helps you. Lack of experience can initially hold you back, but it's not the only factor that is considered by good skippers. And this certainly can be overcome with time if you seek the right opportunities that will nurture that experience. The message here is that there are plenty of team opportunities that start from zero experience. I promise. Okay, so let's finally switch over and chat about what you should look for when you're selecting your racing team. As a crew member, this team essentially becomes your team that you will identify with. And this is a great thing. Discovering the team camaraderie and social aspects of sailing is one of the hidden but most satisfying aspects of the sport. I believe you would get that same sentiment if you were to ask the members of Sailing Team Tally-Ho. Well, at least I hope they have that sentiment, because as a skipper, I nurture that because I understand that it is one of the keys to our competitive success. I've broken this down into 4 main considerations that you should make that we'll talk about today. I'm going to stick with choosing a racing team. I believe there are other considerations if you are just purely cruising that I've covered in another video that I'll put a link to in the comments. So let's get into it. First and foremost, consider the perceived level of risk that the skipper appears to be willing to take on. When you chat with the skipper, and I'd suggest you do that at some point, by the way, if the first venture is a significant one, is there a perception that decisions would be made that you feel are well beyond your current comfort level? I call this doing a little Columbo research from the popular Police Lieutenant TV series. Don't be bashful, just ask. Most of us skippers don't mind at all. Keep in mind that your perception of risk will likely change as you become more experienced, and that's okay. What you think is really risky now could become more routine for you in the future. But wherever you are on your journey right now, today, listen to what your inner Columbo is telling you. Secondly, consider the team dynamics. Are the team members friendly and welcoming, or do they seem cliquey and exclusive? You want to find a team where you feel comfortable and supported, both on and off the water. After all, this is your time investment too. And a little hint, teams that are cliquey or have personality conflicts often end up being slow on the race course. They also seem to mysteriously be a magnet for boat problems. You don't need that. Another critical factor is the level of competitive spirit. You don't want to join a team that wants to win at all costs when you're just a casual club sailor. On the other hand, if you join a team that doesn't really care about race results nearly as much as you do, you'll soon be disappointed. And don't get me wrong, I think either goal is entirely okay. It all has to do with the shared objectives of the team as a whole. You'll want to look at that shared objective and see if it's a good fit for you. As a skipper of a boat that is more on the competitive side, I would rather have a beginner that wants to be trained in as a team member that has the right competitive spirit, rather than having someone experienced but is not interested in winning at the same level that the rest of the team is. Third is the matching of time commitment expectations. This often gets overlooked. How often will the team be sailing? There's an awful lot of stuff in a busy schedule. Which weekly races does the boat like to do? And what are the expectations for practice and competition for you? Or maybe the expectation is just an occasional cameo appearance. You need to make sure you're clear on what's expected of you and that you're able to meet those commitments. This is particularly true if there's travel involved, such as to the Bayfield AIS fleet on Lake Superior. From first-hand experience, skippers look closely to see if there's a solid and continuing commitment by a team member, if that's expected. This is super important, especially for big boat skippers who have to manage larger teams and travel logistics. There is absolutely nothing wrong with asking a skipper to join the team for a single joyride, but it's much better for everyone if you let them know that up front. This is where Wayzata Yacht Clubs, and many other clubs around the world I would add, use of Railmeets' integrated schedule manager feature takes center stage. For Sailing Team Tally-Ho, we add an extra twist when we schedule to accommodate different levels of commitment and skills. We split our team into the A team and the B team, just like a high school sports team. Why? As a skipper, I understand that people have other commitments. Jobs, kids at home, being a student with exams, taking care of elderly parents. It's all part of life. And some races are, by design, more challenging than others, and some races we want to win more, whereas others we use more for crew development on purpose. Our A team are for those that know the boat well, know the tactical plays, and are committed to striving to do well in the competitive races of the Wayzata Yacht Club sonar fleet. The members of the A team also typically commit to most, if not all, of the races for a race series, which is typically 4 to 6 weekly races during the season. Our B team, on the other hand, is for those new or newer to the scene who want to learn but are not feeling that they can be too competitive yet, or that they can only occasionally commit to being on a race. So I think it's good to find out whether the team you are considering does this sort of thing. Well, maybe not by name, but by principle. Do you want to be on the A team or the B team only? Maybe you want to start on the B team but work up to the A team. My advice is to be upfront with the skipper and team about this when you talk with them or go out for a tryout sail. A good team and skipper will respect you for that, I guarantee. The last thing I'd like to bring up is don't get discouraged by either giving up or giving in. Not getting picked right away? There are ways to find those hidden opportunities. Remember, we were all newbies at one time too. If you're intimidated by some teams, don't stew that it may be your only chance. With over 120 boats plus on the water at Wayzata Yacht Club every week, and that translates to over 400 crew position needs, there are lots of fish in the sea. Just know that there are many teams that have a B team that is specifically designed to encourage beginners. They're out there for the finding. Smart skippers recognize that there is always turnover and the ongoing success depends on incremental team development. If luck would have it that you are at Wayzata Yacht Club, just know you are at one of the most accommodating race programs for beginners in North America. And to make it even smoother, Wayzata Yacht Club integrates its schedule and crew opportunities right into the instance of Railmeets. Never before has it been easier to find the right team fit for both skipper and potential team member. I have other videos about how to get on Railmeets and get your search started worldwide. I'll leave the link in the comments. And if you like this content, please consider clicking the like and subscribe. Sailing Team Tally-Ho is selling nothing but the sport itself. Thanks. So let's size up what I believe is the most important nugget for picking a winning team and starting your journey. I believe it is compatibility with the team members and alignment of goals. Notice that I didn't start that sentence off with the word experience. If you click with the team and you're all working towards the same objectives, you're more likely to have a positive outcome for both you and the team. The skills and experience will come in due time. All racing teams, no matter how casual or elite, are on the same journey as you will be. When you're sailing with a team that's a good fit for you, you'll be more motivated to improve and push yourself to new heights. If you've had experiences with racing teams, good or bad, I'd love to hear about them. And if you're looking for more sailing tips and advice, please consider subscribing. I'll have lots more coming.